and he is 6'7", and those are women's clubs that are for a 5'9" girl. So it is pure comedy to see him trying to swing those fucking things.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
So I was playing out of my brother's bag. So I left I was down in Shakopee. I left my golf clubs up here.
Why did you leave your golf clubs?
Well, I don't
feel
think
like
Jake intentionally did it.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I was planning on bringing my golf clubs back, and then I took Friday off, and then I was like, you know what? I just forgot to come back to the office here, grab my clubs, and then
it's King Scatterbrain.
It's funny you say that because so Jade, Pete Davidson from Wish, who is in some of our videos, he golfed with my wife's clubs for probably 2 years before he even got his own.
Really?
So every time, and he was like one of my only buddies at that time that was like getting into golf, kind of like I was. I think it's a good way to start.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think you technically need your own clubs right away. And I'm kind of bummed that I sold my own clubs to Matt, which is fine. He needed a new set. But if I hadn't done that, I would have just kept them for that reason specifically.
Same situation. Golfing at Connor's bachelor party, whatever, a month or two ago, whenever it was, I brought an extra set of clubs because I knew a buddy needed them, and he brought them home with him, and which is fine because they're Becca's clubs technically, and she never golfs. And now he's into golf because he had a set of clubs for the first time, and now he's been using Becca's clubs every weekend, and now he's super into golf. And he is 6'7", and those are women's clubs that are for a 5'9" girl. So it is pure comedy to see him trying to swing those fucking things.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
But how did you play with your brother's clubs? Because it's got to be a little weird because you golf regularly with your own clubs.
Yeah.
It's not as weird for somebody who is just starting golf to use random clubs because they don't know any better. But for someone like yourself who golfs every other week at least, to use a different set of clubs has got to be strange, right?
It felt like driving somebody else's car, you know?
Yeah. I feel that.
It was like, this isn't mine, but like, I don't know. My brother just trusted me with them for the day, and like, I don't know. It's weird.
I kind of like playing with other
Me
people's
too.
clubs
I
because
was just gonna say that.
Instant crutch, right there.
You have a built-in excuse.
Well, I did my own clubs.
Yeah.
Because for the longest time, my hands from hitting on the simulator here, my hands were so calloused up that I just left my clubs at home, so I couldn't go and hit the simulator.
Yeah. So
But then I just hit like Miles's Callaway Rogues.
Ryan pulled a little trick that I kind of liked. I thought it was pretty smart of you, and I don't know if anyone else caught on to it but me.
What was it?
You just used clubs from everyone's bag. So essentially, you had the best of all the bags in the simulator.
Yeah, but at
you
the
were
same time,
stealing
Tyler,
irons from Ryan. You were stealing wedges from me. You were stealing whatever from your 3-wood from Alan.
Yep.
I think that's a pretty big brain move. I don't know if
you're
you did
right.
it
I did have the
intentionally.
best of every bag that was there, but the only thing that was missing that was better was my bag. And that is not like a smart ass comment. But for me, it's just an instant crutch. It's like, not my own clubs. You know?
I like having built-in excuses.
I also just like hitting other brands, though, just to see what they're all like.
Yeah.
Actually, it's kind of a slippery slope for me because if I like another brand, I'm like, maybe I got to get fitted again. Just got fitted last year. There are multiple people I do not trust hitting like my driver.
Yeah.
Granted, I can't even hit my own driver, but there are people that I would not trust hitting my driver.
Yeah.
Jade being one of them.
Yep.
But I think playing with other people's clubs is kind of an elite status because if you can play good with someone else's clubs, you can play good with just about any clubs.
Right. I think it's a good, like, number one reason to golf with someone else's clubs. Built-in excuse. Hit a bad shot. They're not my clubs.
Yeah.
Number two, you're thinking more about this person's clubs than you are your swing.
You know what it comes down to, though? It comes down to the wedges and the putter.
Yeah.
Like the wedges aren't what you are used to hitting.
Because it's all the touch shots are what's going to be weird. Because the weight of this wedge is going to be different than the weight of your wedge. It's going to come off that putter different than your putter.
Yep.
So the touch game is you need a lot of practicing beforehand if you want to get used to those fast.
Yeah, 100%. If you're getting into golf, I don't think borrowing someone else's clubs is a bad thing.
Me either.
You just make sure you're careful with them because it could be a very expensive day of golf for you. Now, what's your thought on that? If you use someone else's driver, like let's just say I let you borrow my driver on the tee box and you fucking did something to it. You took a chip out of the bottom of it or you snapped the club head off. Are you replacing that?
Yeah. I'm offering for sure. If Gabe were to actually have broken my driver, he would have offered to pay for a new one. And I would have said,
because you would have made him offer to pay for it.
No, I wouldn't have made it. He's a good guy. He'd offered to pay, and I'd be like, well, let's split it because I am not an elite golfer to where it's out of the realm of possibility for me to do that.
Correct.
You know,
But you would rather be the one to do it than somebody else. Like if your club's gonna break, you want to be the one. to break it.
Exactly. But I would have been like, all right, no, I'm not gonna make you pay for this whole new driver. Let's throw me whatever you want. It's fine, and then I'll replace it myself. But you have to make the offer.
Correct.
If you're the one that breaks it, you got to be like, oh, dude, let me buy you a new one.
Yep.
9 times out of 10, if it's a good buddy, they'll be like, oh, fuck, that sucks. Don't worry about it. Like, it is what it is.
Yep.
But if you don't make the offer, you're shitty.
I do take a second to think before I offer up a club. How has this person been playing? Have they hit a shot yet today that could potentially break this club if they do it again? That's why I think like having a backup set of clubs for your buddies to use is not a bad thing to have. There's no need to replace that because it's an old driver. It's probably an old set of irons, an old what I hope you don't break the putter unless you run it over or something.
If you break the putter, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah. So I think that's a good way to look at it is like, hey, if it's a backup set of clubs, no big deal. Like, the next person to use them just won't have a 5 iron.
Yep.
But if it's my set, yeah, I would hope someone would offer it up.
Yeah.
Here's another question I posed to you guys. So let's say Jake hits a hole-in-one with his brother's 8-iron blade. Let's flip it. Sorry. Your brother hits one with your 8-iron. Are you giving him the 8-iron?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
No, I am. My clubs are dirt cheap. It's worth more to him as a trophy than it is to me as an actual club.
Would he give it to you think?
Probably. He has some decently expensive clubs, but there's nothing that you can't, find on eBay and replace and shit like that.
Well, if he's hitting Mizuno blades.
Those can't be cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like 10 years old already or some shit like that.
Okay.
So, they're all secondhand. But still, you could find that club on eBay for $60 or some shit like that. I would ask him. I would ask. I'm not
giving it up.
Really?
Here's the thing. When I get rid of these clubs, I'll give it to you when I get rid of these clubs. So you make your little shrine, get the ball, get a little plaque that says hole-in-one, hole number 8 at Prairiewood, whatever, with the stipulation of like, hey, when I get rid of these clubs, I'll give you that. I'll let you finish off the trophy case. Are you giving the club up?
Yeah.
Really?
If you hit a hole-in-one with my 8-iron, it's your 8-iron now.
No shit. So if you're 165,
I'd give you my fucking driver if you hit a hole-in-one with it.
On a par 4? Yeah. That's a different story. If you hit a hole-in-one on a par 4 with my driver, that's a different story.
Why?
Because the odds are so much less.
I guess, yeah.
Like that is 1 in a million.
Yeah.
To hit a hole-in-one on a par 4, I'm probably going to give you the driver. Okay. Actually, I'll give you the driver head. I'll keep the shaft. You can put it on your own shaft.
I don't want to use it. I'm using it. It's going on a trophy board.
Yeah.
See, it's so much better used on the course though than it is on a shrine.
No, but I'm shrining it. I'm shrining it for sure. The second.
What if you break your driver and you're like, oh, I don't have a backup, but I have this one in the hole-in-one case.
It's like the Sandlot Babe Ruth ball.
Yeah. When one of us does hit a hole-in-one, my wife's not going to let me put a shrine in our house. So I'll probably just put it in here.
Oh, that's fine.
I think it's better suited.
Yeah. You got it. You can have a room for it. You put it next, let's say have deer up downstairs.
Yeah. In the living room.
Yeah. Put it downstairs.
And it's like, there's one on each side. It's symmetrical.
Yeah. Put the club right in between them.
There's a window.
Put it right on the window.
No.
Get a command strip or something.
No. Luckily, if we do hit one though, we have a podcast studio we can put it in.
That's true. Got another question for you. How do you feel like if someone gives you their bag to play with for a round, how do you feel about like the balls in the bag situation?
Ball situation?
Yeah,
I'll take
the
all
ball
of them.
situation.
I don't care. I'm going to find them more than I lose. So
yeah. See,
but I do think you need to buy balls at the clubhouse.
Yeah, for them. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. See, mine was like this weekend, obviously, it was my brother's clubs. I probably paid for some of those balls in his bag, but then I started digging. I lost 3 or 4 balls or whatever. So I start digging and I'm pulling out Pro V1, Pro V1X, he has.
Well, if he's swinging blades, of course he's a Pro V1X guy.
Yeah. And then I started feeling bad. I was like, if I was swinging some noodles or something like that, no regrets out of my end. No regrets whatsoever. But he's got, swinging blades. He's got Pro V1s in there. Like,
he's not that good.
He's not that good.
Neither am I. Why? I don't even know why I have new clubs.
I asked that question 100 times.